evening. I decided to get on here and talk a little bit about the business of Joy Mason Communications. I started the company in 2002, in the summer of 2002, and all I did offer was animal communicating. And that is because I have been doing animal communicating unofficially up until June of 2002. I've been doing it unofficially since, 1988. And over the years before I got a divorce, I had been extensively tested by my ex-husband, who was the veterinarian and a classmate of mine. And I had learned a lot about what I was getting and what I wasn't getting and what I trusted and what I didn't trust. So by the time I went to a dog show in Lompoc that summer, maybe it was July, because I think Lompoc Dog Show is in July. Anyway, by the time I went up there, I was prepared, or so I thought. Anyway, I'm going to start telling some of the stories over the 21 years. But for now, I just wanted to say hi, I guess. And I wanted to say, for those of you who don't know me, why would you use my services? And that's a good question, because I am self-taught. I don't think I'm your typical animal communicator, because I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine, and I think that my take on the communication from the animals might be a little bit different than others that I've heard about or that I've watched on TV and that kind of thing. For one thing, I didn't start with a picture. I started with the animals in front of me in the back of my clinic. And at the time that I started, I was also being a medical intuitive. I would literally get whatever the animal in front of me had. And it was quite uncomfortable, and I would get sick, and I would have to go home and sleep off whatever ailment I picked up from the animal. So over the next 14 years, 88. Over the next 12 years or so, I had been tested, and, maybe I'd get something that we didn't have in the record, and we'd have to do an x-ray, we'd have to do blood work to either prove or disprove what I got, or maybe we'd go to surgery, and we'd have to figure out, was I right or not? So I had some confidence, but I had no idea what these guys would say when they weren't in the back of my clinic. It's a little bit different when you're in a veterinary hospital than when you're in a dog show setting. And I decided to start at dog shows because I've been showing dogs probably since 1976, when I started with my Airedale. And I went from the Airedale to Pembroke Welsh Corgis. I was breeding them and showing them. And then I went to my Frenchies, and I haven't done a lot of showing with Frenchies, but I'm now doing agility with my Frenchie, and I'm starting to do the obedience and try to get the CGC and those kind of things. So I'm a show dog person. So I thought a dog show would be fun, because most of the people knew me because I was showing and that kind of thing. And it was fun. It was absolutely positively fun, and I'll start telling stories, like I said, on another video. I don't want to make this too long. So I learned from a friend of mine who decided she also wanted to be an animal communicator. Most people start with pictures, and you read the picture, and then you somehow figure out if you're right or wrong. I started out with the live animal in the back of the clinic, and then I ended up going to hair. I would have my friends send me hair from their animals, and I kind of meditate on it, and I do it like this, and I tell them all these things about their animals. And they would tell me it's different than any communicator they'd gone to, because I was giving the whole picture, what they're thinking, what they say. I find that asking questions like, what's their favorite toy? Who's their favorite person? You know, the animal, and I would go, just kind of boring. I want to get to the meat of the matter. You know, I love you, but I need to be outside. You know, I love you, but this. And so I think personally that I get into things maybe deeper than some communicators. I don't know. But I only use a picture, just so you know, if the animal can't be with you or if the animal has passed. So another reason to do an animal communication with me is that I'm a medical intuitive. And like I said, when I first started out, I wouldn't get it on every animal, but I would touch the animal, and on some of them, I would get what they had. Wasn't all the time. And then I had to learn to get what they have and kind of scan the body. And with my knowledge of anatomy, physiology, medicine, figure out what they had, where it is, and then if the client wanted it, give them some suggestions, some suggestions as to what they can do. I don't diagnose per se, and I definitely do not treat. I've read animals that ended up having cancer, and I always tell people I'm very uncomfortable with saying your pet has cancer because I think it's a little bit too ooey-oo for me as a doctor, and I tell people I can only tell you what your animal knows. And most animals, even most people, you don't know when you've got cancer. So I don't go there. There are some medical intuitives that are comfortable with that. They can do that. That's not my thing. Another thing is people will say, oh, does my dog nervous about the baby? I don't know. Well, why don't you know? Because he hasn't been around babies. You know, so I just give I give to you what they give to me. I try to make the communication very concise, very clear, very to the point as much as I can. And with that said, I can say that I've done medical intuitive stuff across the country when I was in California, talking to people in Florida and Georgia and up north, and getting or giving the owner what was going on with the horse or the dog. And this is what I'm getting. Please go to your vet. Don't tell them you talk to me because they think it's a bunch of hooey, and that's fine. And then please direct them in this direction. Could it be kidney? Could it be bladder? Could it be, you know, the leg? Could it be whatever? So that's how I work. And maybe you've used other animal communicators and maybe they don't work that way, or maybe you have a situation that you can't get into your veterinarian for a long time. A lot of people are having a hard time getting into their vet. And with that said, you could always give me a call, make an appointment, let's do a medical scan and an animal communication. I can tell you what I'm getting off the animal. I might send you a chart that, you know, a chart like this that might give you the areas of the body that's being bothered, so you can share it with your veterinarian. I've got one for horse, I've got for bird, that kind of thing. And I may not know exactly what it is, but I might be able to target where the problem is. So, and I think I try to make it fun, and I like to laugh and giggle, and the animal's happy. I like to leave the client with some tools if they need the tools. And I like to do what we do in veterinary medicine. I like to do callbacks to see how you're doing and what's going on. And if you've got a show animal or you're performing and stuff, I like to think that I'm part of the team. And if they run into a problem, you can call me and we can do an appointment and figure out what's going on. So that's why you might want to use my animal communicating services. Thank you for your time and have a very good evening. There will be more videos to come. Take care.